Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star original continent based on novel. So let's start. Breakthrough. Zhu Chong Knight looked at Zhu Chong Emperor in surprise. Teacher. You're. Luo Feng was exhilarated. His teacher had been stuck at the last step for eras, and although Beast God Inheritance was a huge opportunity for him, he wasn't guaranteed to succeed. However, he was going to have his breakthrough right after Inheritance. Zhu Chong Emperor was thrilled. He had been waiting for too long. He was still accompanied by his families when he first became a powerful one, but with time going by, his families all became old, and his hometown also prospered because of him. After eras, he didn't need to worry about his hometown anymore. The only thing he was pursuing was the path of power. Nevertheless, he couldn't move forward while some of the other talents of the barbarian race had become universe knights. He could only stay in Chaos City and find a sense of accomplishment by teaching the juniors. Beast God Inheritance was his biggest opportunity. However, success wasn't guaranteed. Ha. I just feel this way as I have lots of inspirations, Zhu Chong Emperor laughed. I'm not sure when I can actually step forward. Even feeling it is good enough, said Zhu Chong Knight with a smile. What will really worry me is that you don't feel anything. Now that you've got inspirations, go back and contemplate them. Study the path of Beast God and you'll recall the instructions you had during the Inheritance. Luo Feng was startled. Could he actually remember them? This is a small trick, Zhu Chong Knight said. During the Inheritance, you, Blade River Emperor, received the third level of it by watching every secret behind that. However, the amount you can remember depends on your original progress, and that's why you can't remember everything. If you go back and ruminate on it, you can remember more. The key is to seize the moment and study the path of Beast God. Thank you, Zhu Chong Knight, Luo Feng and Zhu Chong Emperor said with gratitude. Also, is the Inheritance great? Zhu Chong Knight looked at Luo Feng. I can tell by your facial expressions. Don't be smug. You might think this one-time Inheritance is far more effective than the training you've done before, but it's only an illusion. An illusion? Luo Feng and Zhu Chong Emperor were dazed. Maybe you found it difficult to understand during your previous training, said Zhu Chong Knight. However, you only ran into those problems because you actually put effort into it, and that's why you were suddenly enlightened during the Inheritance. If you think Inheritance itself is enough for you, you're way off. Without the reflection of the failures you had before, you wouldn't gain anything even if you received the Inheritance. Luo Feng and Zhu Chong Emperor suddenly understood. It was just like the Chaos Tablet, which would only be helpful after they practiced long enough. As for Beast God Inheritance, it was tens of millions of times more helpful. When can we come here for Inheritance again? Luo Feng asked. There are 7 levels of Beast God Inheritance, and you can have a free instruction for each level, Zhu Chong Knight said. When you complete the 2nd level, you can take the Inheritance for the 3rd level. When you're done with the 3rd level, you can come here for the 4th level, and so on and so forth. You can get only one for each level. That means you can't get a free 3rd level Inheritance. Free? Does that mean I need to pay a price? Luo Feng asked. It was totally worth it to trade a treasure for one Inheritance. What's the price? A treasure. Zhu Chong Emperor followed up. Do you really think the Ancestral God School would care about your treasures? Zhu Chong Knight shook his head. The only way is to go to the World of Glory. World of Glory. Luo Feng and Zhu Chong Emperor remembered it. You'll know one when you enter it, Zhu Chong Knight said. But you need to be extra careful. Zhu Chong Knight looked at Luo Feng and Zhu Chong Emperor and said, I'll tell you 2 rules. 1. There shall be no killings in the 5-color Aurora Lake, or you'll be attacked. 2. Each heir has a palace on the Bohinia Island, and the palace belongs to you and you only. Nobody can trespass in it, and you can't trespass in others' palaces. Remember the 2 rules. Now go. The portal is right behind you. Luo Feng and Zhu Chong Emperor took a bow, turned around, and saw a transparent wave. They flew inside. They were teleported. Zhu Feng Knight sat on the aerolite and said, Blade River Emperor. Is he the Sector Lord Blade River Emperor? Incredible for him to reach the 3rd level as only a Sector Lord. On Bohinia Island. Luo Feng and Truyang Emperor walked out of the water curtains and flew back to their palaces. Student. I have so many inspirations now that I think I can actually have my breakthrough if I can actually accomplish it. Truyang Emperor looked at Luo Feng. You deserve the credit for that. The token means nothing without your hundreds of millions of years of training, Luo Feng answered. That sounds about right, Truyang Emperor said. I gained a lot by taking you on as my student. I still need to contemplate and try to leap forward. I guess I can either spend a year or 10,000 years before I become a universe knight. But if I can't even make it after 10,000 years, I might lose my chance. You can succeed, teacher, Luo Feng encouraged him. I hope everything you say will become true, Truyang Emperor said. I might not show up for a long time. And don't come to me unless there's something urgent. I understand, Luo Feng said, nodding. He wouldn't interrupt his teacher at such a crucial time. I hope I am a universe knight next time I see you, Truyang Emperor said. I hope so, too. There was a trace of light in Luo Feng's eyes. Truyang Emperor flew to the garden afar and closed the door. Luo Feng sat beside the river and couldn't help smiling. Finally, my teacher can have his moment. I'll need to work hard, also. The training I have in normal times is the root. Luo Feng went back to his palace, sat on the path beside the pool with his legs crossed, and started to practice. Half a year passed, and Luo Feng finally opened his eyes. Zhu Feng Knight was right, he said. I did advance a lot in the past half a year. Although it wasn't as effective as I was during the inheritance, it's much better than in Ice Hell. I can now understand that in a normal speed. I don't need to rush. Luo Feng stood up and walked outside. He walked to the side of the river and looked around. The door of his teacher's palace was still closed, and he could see other figures afar. Where can I go? The world of glory, the land of inheritance, the land of treasures, and the land of the secret region, Luo Feng murmured. I can't go to the land of the secret region now, or I'll die. And there's no point going to the land of inheritance. I'll go to the land of treasures. Luo Feng was expecting something great. The land of treasures, according to the guarding beast god, was filled with treasures left by a plethora of beast gods, guarding beast gods, and their equals. The guarding beast god said there was a human obtaining a treasure, said Luo Feng, recalling how Seven-Blade Emperor used the golden pool. Could that be him? Whatever, I'll go take a look first. Luo Feng flew to the square in front of the palace of the island owner. As he landed, he saw a figure there. The figure was 10 feet tall, and wore armor resembling green bark. He had silver skin, a bald head, and diamond eyes. Automaton race, Luo Feng said as he landed. Human, the powerful one of the automaton race said. It stared at and inspected Luo Feng. Then it smiled and said, I have the information of 91,293 human emperors, and that of all the famous undying of humans is here. Normally, only the well-known emperors can get tokens and get in. But strangely, I can't find your information. Based on the fight between Blade River Emperor and Haiti Emperor, a phantom of Beast God will appear if the Blade River Emperor makes his move. Apparently, Blade River Emperor is following the path of Beast Gods. And in the past 10,000 eras, there were few humans following the path of Beast Gods. The Blade River Emperor is extraordinarily talented, and the human race would definitely give him the token. Correct me if I'm wrong. Your Blade River Emperor. The powerful one of automaton race looked at Luo Feng and added, how incredible true treasures are, that I can't even tell you're a sector lord. Luo Feng looked at the powerful individual of the automaton race in front of him, frowning. He didn't expect the barbarian race to be so accurate. But, on second thought, he wasn't that surprised. The bug race, the demon race, and the automaton race were often in contact with humans, and they had detailed information on humans. Besides, only the most talented ones could get the tokens and come to the land of inheritance. I know you're Blade River Emperor, even if you're not talking, the powerful one of the automaton race said as he stared at Luo Feng. He wanted to kill the human in front of him to get the tempting reward. All you can do is to guess my identity. Luo Feng grinned. I, however, have already figured out that you're Zhu Chong Emperor. As for my identity, you can keep guessing. Luo Feng took a step into the spring and vanished. Zhu Chong Emperor was a bit dazed. He looked at the empty square and whispered, interesting that he didn't admit it. It seems this overly talented Blade River Emperor doesn't have a good temper. After all, he's so gifted. Everyone who was qualified to enter the land of inheritance was gifted. Fame was what made Blade River Emperor special. Everyone in the universe knew that there was a Blade River Emperor in the human race who was able to defeat peak emperors as only a sector lord. That eclipsed lots of other talents in the universe, even those invincible emperors. It wasn't surprising that they were jealous. Land of treasures, said Zhu Chong Emperor. That place is always filled with heirs, and they won't stay there for long. There's going to be someone who can figure out his true identity. Zhu Chong Emperor smiled and stepped into the water curtain. Although Luo Feng didn't admit to his true identity, Zhu Chong Emperor had evolved from intelligent life forms, which granted him extraordinary speculating capabilities that were a source of pride for him. The teleportation was finished. Luo Feng appeared on the peak of a mountain, and he could see tens of thousands of hills of all sorts. He couldn't even see the end of them. There were lakes of different sizes among the mountains, the largest ones being over 1,000,000 square kilometers. The lakes were like emerald jades, some were light while others were dark. Luo Feng looked up. There were moving auroras up on the sky. Apparently, the land of treasures was within the 5-color aurora lake. That's right, Luo Feng thought. The land of treasures was flooded with valuables. The ancestral god school needs to place it in a secure place, or it will be robbed by some supreme beings outside. Luo Feng flew up and traveled across the mountains through the air. He could see creatures of all races, including many special creatures. Some of the gigantic creatures of the demon race and plant race shrunk their bodies. Interesting, Luo Feng thought. It's like an exhibition of all the creatures. Although I saw lots of races in the outer domain battlefield, it was nothing compared to this one. This was the first time Luo Feng had seen so many races and clans he had never encountered before, which made him excited. After a while, he got used to it. Luo Feng dove and landed on a mountain. He found a rock, sat on it, and wondered, where are the treasures? Brother human, he heard a voice call out. Luo Feng turned around and saw someone flying toward him. He was transparent, with a handsome face and covered in green armor. Luo Feng smiled and said, Brother Dark Mist Clan. The Dark Mist Clan belonged to Hong Alliance. I'm Thousand Rain, the handsome one from the Dark Mist Clan said with a smile. I'm Hua, Luo Feng said. I've never seen you before. Did you just arrive? Thousand Rain asked. Indeed. This is my first time in the land of treasures. Luo Feng looked around and sighed. I heard there are quite a few treasures left by the seniors of Ancestral God School. But all I can see is the beautiful view instead of the treasures. You didn't find any treasures. Thousand Rain burst into laughter. What's the deal? Luo Feng looked at him. Why is that funny? There are treasures everywhere. Thousand Rain pointed around. Treasures are hidden in every mountain and every lake. Everywhere. Luo Feng was dazed. There were tens of thousands of mountains and lakes. How many treasures were there? There are a plethora of treasures. See. Those are the tallest 108 mountains. Thousand Rain pointed to the towering mountains afar, which were significantly taller than others. Every heir knows that the most precious 108 valuables of the Ancestral God School are hidden there, and 42 of them have been taken away by some of the luckiest guys in the universe, the latest being 1.2 million eras ago. The universe knight of the demon race who got lucky obtained an invaluable treasure. An invaluable treasure. Luo Feng was thrilled. Of course, Thousand Rain continued. This is the land of treasures of the ancestral god school. Each of the top 108 valuables is at least an invaluable treasure. There are many other rare valuables, too, some of them being really helpful for those following the path of beast gods. They are just almost impossible to get. Luo Feng looked to the mountains. Nobody tried to cut into the mountains. Luo Feng said jokingly. Who has the guts to do that? Thousand River said. For one thing, all the mountains are protected by the force of the five-color Aurora Lake, and emperors like us can't damage them at all. Also, for universe knights who are able to do that, they dare not. Vandalizing the land of treasures is a blasphemy to all the seniors of the ancestral god school, for which anyone would be killed instantly by the five-color Aurora Lake. Luo Feng nodded. Don't even think about the valuables there, Thousand Rain smiled and said. The more precious the valuables are, the more difficult it is to get them. If we know the requirements, we might be able to strive for it. However, we don't even know what conditions those supreme ones have for opening the treasures. That's why only luck can help. If you can find one that suits you, the weakest one here is more precious than an ordinary treasure. Luo Feng nodded, thinking about the creatures who had placed the valuables. There were a great many emperors in the land of treasures, but there were also lots of universe knights. After all, many heirs were universe knights, and many of the submembers of the ancestral god school were universe knights. The ratio between emperors and universe knights was 1,000 to 1, and the emperors avoided the knights. A towering figure dove into a mountain. Humans, the creatures said as it glimpsed Luo Feng and Thousand Rain. Humans are the most annoying. The figure detested them. He dove toward Luo Feng and Thousand Rain, who attempted to dodge him. However, the figure sped up and hit Luo Feng directly. A terrific, godly power assaulted Luo Feng and Thousand Rain, and they bounced away. Blood trailed from their mouths. Bastard! Thousand Rain gnashed the teeth in anger. Luo Feng's face darkened. Thousand Rain grabbed him and spoke to him mentally, saying, "Don't go. He is a universe knight." Luo Feng was furious. He had never come across anyone so aggressive and reckless. We're inside the five-color Aurora Lake. What can he do? Kill us? He didn't kill us, Thousand Rain replied. These universe knights have lived here for eras, and they know the rules. See. The mountain remains intact, and our bodies are not broken. He was just trying to humiliate you. What can you do about it? But Luo Feng was charging the knight before Thousand Rain could finish. On top of the mountain, the creature glanced at the two of them and sneered. However, he was surprised to see the human coming toward him. What is he doing? He's only an emperor. The creature was irritated and planned to swat Luo Feng away. Suddenly, he noticed something that dazed him. Luo Feng was holding a flame god crystal. The crystal posed him no threat, but the explosion from it could kill the human. If the human died, he would die along with him. Knight. Luo Feng landed on the mountain holding the flame god crystal, and looked at the universe knight of the barbarian race. Can bullying emperors really give you a sense of accomplishment? Beishan Knight had been living on Bohinia Island for a long time, and he went to the land of treasures often. And the weak emperors were already accustomed to him being dominant. This was a usual situation for the island, as the knights and emperors were in no way equals. Knights with good tempers would fly to a place slowly, and the emperors there would go away. However, if they ran into aggressive ones like this Beishan Knight, they could only put up with them. It was quite common already. Beishan Knight looked at the human in front of him and sneered, "Bullying you? I innately dislike humans, and that's why I bully you. What can you do about it? You dare disrespect me as a mere emperor?" "Yes, I just did it, and I'll continue to do so. What do you want to do about it?" Luo Feng looked up at the barbarian knight, holding the flame god crystal. It was silent all around. Thousand Rain with blood on his lips, as well as other powerful ones of the barbarian races, all turned to watch. "I haven't seen this one," said one of them. "He's new. Look, another stupid one. Not surprising at all. They think they're under the protection of the law of the ancestral god school, and that the knights can't hurt them. Besides, lots of the newcomers are the special ones of different races, and they can't put up with it. The Beishan knight is hostile against humans and is reckless. It's normal that the newcomers defy him. But he'll know how to behave himself after this. Let's see what sort of fight the new one will put up. The human's smart to hold the flame god crystal in his hands. That way, he can intimidate Beishan. If the crystal kills the human, Beishan will die along with him. The powerful ones around them were all watching from afar. Most of them were emperors, and a few of them were universe knights. At the peak of the mountain, Luo Feng wiped his lips and looked at the universe knight of the barbarian race. Impressive, Beishan knight said and looked at Luo Feng from the top. He was irritated but, at the same time, interested. He hadn't come across a human emperor, who dared to confront him directly in a long time. Human, do you know that I'm a universe knight? I do, Luo Feng said, staring at him. But so what? Don't you think you should revere me? Beishan knight said. Why should the weak respect the strong? Luo Feng answered. Because the weak are afraid that the strong will kill them, and they admire the power of the strong. Apparently, I don't admire you whatsoever. I don't need to be afraid of you within the five-color Aurora Lake. So, you tell me, why should I venerate you? Beishan knight burst into laughter, which echoed among the mountains. More powerful ones turned to watch. Indeed, you don't need to be afraid of me here. Beishan knight curled his lips and added, but, human, you should also know that you're not going to stay here forever. I have seen you, and now I know your scent. You know what could happen if I find you outside. Don't you think what you're doing is stupid? Luo Feng gazed at Beishan knight. Forget about it, Thousand Rain said, communicating with Luo Feng telepathically. Don't mess with a universe knight. The universe knights have been used to being revered all the time, and we're not equal to them. Beishan knight indeed stepped out of line this time, but all we can do is bear with it. It's not good for us to have feuds with universe knights. Thank you, Thousand Rain, replied Luo Feng. Luo Feng wasn't terrified at all as he looked at Beishan knight. The mighty master of Sky Wolf had already spread the news of Blade River Emperor, and there were countless creatures in the universe who were trying to assassinate him. The rewards from the peak races were already tempting for a great number of universe knights, possibly some masters of the universe. That was why Luo Feng had chosen to hide here. Several top races are trying to kill me, said Luo Feng. Why do I need to tolerate you? Besides, you're only an ordinary knight, and when I become an undying, my golden horned beast body is thousands of times stronger than humans, and it can wear force armor. Luo Feng didn't want to suffer from this. Since the news of Blade River Emperor was known to the entire universe, and since Zhu Chong Emperor had already recognized him, his identity wouldn't be a secret in the land of inheritance for long. So, why should he put up with this? Compared to the glaring from the peak races, this Beishan knight was nothing. Luo Feng nodded. You're right. I'll make an enemy of a universe knight if I wrong you, and it might be stupid. However, I've already wronged you. Tell me what I should do. Beishan knight was dazed, as he'd never come across anyone like this before. Interesting. Beishan, you've finally encountered a handful, came a rumbling voice from a knight of a barbarian race from a mountain afar. The human newcomer doesn't even give a damn about you, said another. A third voice added, kill him and build your reputation. 3 universe knights were laughing, and their voices were echoing in the sky. As for the emperors watching, they whispered to each other. Thousand Rain was holding his head, hiding far away. Oh my god, the humans gone mad. Occasionally, there would be some stubborn newcomers. However, they would usually admit defeat right away. This time, on the contrary, the newcomer was overly reckless. None of the emperors were able to identify Luo Feng, but they all thought the human was foolhardy. Beishan knight heard the laughter from the other knights, and his face darkened. They, as universe knights, would care more about how they looked. There were many universe knights within the ancestral god schools, and they were divided up according to different alliances. For example, the human universe knights were one group, and the universe knights of the Nine-City Alliance would form another group. Presently, the universe knights from another group were laughing at him. Bei Shan Knight gave Luo Feng a cold look and surrounded Luo Feng with an aggressive force. Luo Feng treated the force like a breeze. Brave enough, Bei Shan Knight said. I've always hated humans, and I hate you even more after what has happened here. Now, you'll kneel down and destroy half of your godly body, and I'll pretend none of this ever happened. Luo Feng glanced at Bei Shan Knight. You want me to destroy half of my godly body, and kneel down to apologize? You're so merciful. What if I disobey you? Will you kill me outside if you have the chance? I'm so afraid. Luo Feng looked at him wryly. I'm so afraid. I'll remember this if I'm afraid, and I'll have my revenge. You're of the Fang Chui clan, right? Bei Shan Knight became more and more hostile, and Thousand Rain was already scared to half death. Just apologize, urged Thousand Rain. Just. Bei Shan Knight said in a low voice, Human, I admire your bravery. Remember, I'm Bei Shan Knight. Hide in 5-color Aurora Lake as long as you can. Luo Feng sneered. He had a reason to be so contemptuous. If Bei Shan Knight knew that he was Blade River Emperor, he wouldn't dare lay a finger of him. The Fang Chui clan could handle the anger from the human race, who highly valued super talents. If he did it, the whole clan would suffer because of him, and thus, only the powers that were Hong alliances equal would dare to hurt Luo Feng. At the peak of the mountain, neither Bei Shan Knight nor Luo Feng lowered their heads. It was impossible for them to do so. Bei Shan Knight hummed and prepared to fly away. Bei Shan, came a voice. A snow-white figure appeared beside the mountain, and the figure was 10 feet tall. His entire body was coagulated like an ice cube, and there were lots of other ice shatters inside. He looked like a human and was wearing ice armor. He seemed to be more forceful than Bei Shan Knight. Zhu Chong Emperor. Bei Shan Knight's face darkened. Bei Shan, the ice-armored man said with a smirk. I know that you don't get along with humans, but he just arrived. Do you really need to be so cruel to him? I'm just here to tell you to go easy on the emperors. Luo Feng was blown away. He couldn't help staring at the ice-armored man. An emperor. The ice-armored man in front of him was an emperor. Thousand Rain, who is he? Luo Feng asked Thousand Rain. Thousand Rain wasn't prepared for Luo Feng's question. But then he answered, that's Zhu Chong Emperor, one of the 3 emperors on Bohinia Island. Rumor has it that he's a unique creature in the universe, and his original body is more than 40,000 miles tall. His constitution is 5,000 times more powerful than ours, as only an emperor, and is more powerful than lots of ordinary universe knights. Besides, his techniques are extraordinary. He got 2 invaluable treasures from the ancestral god school, who specially trains him. Ordinary universe knights are not his match. Luo Feng blinked and looked at Zhu Chong Emperor in front of him. A unique life form. Thought Luo Feng. More than 40,000 miles tall. 5,000 times. This video will end here.